Hello there. Welcome to the Art and Artist podcast. My name is Kyle, and today's guest is Anna Justen, an independent singer-songwriter originally from Seattle, Washington, now based in Montreal, Canada. Anna's musical journey began at the age of 12 when she taught herself piano and guitar. She captured melodies and lyrics in her journals, developing a unique notation system. Her style blends indie pop and folk songwriting with experimental, grunge-influenced production. Anna creates a compelling and unique sound and is set to release her debut album on May 8th, 2025, which explores themes of childhood, family dynamics, and finding beauty within pain. Welcome to the show, Anna.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
All right. I'm so excited to have you on the show. So you said at one time you were put on earth to make something beautiful out of what was or is extremely painful. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's what art is a lot of the time for a lot of people, but that definitely is like what has gotten me through every hard part of my life. I think I've experienced quite a bit of loss and like grief in my life. And so just to process that, I feel like has a big part of that has been writing songs. And there's one song that I wrote about, like, dedicated to my aunt and my cousin who passed away, and we never got to have a funeral for my aunt. And so every time I play it live, it feels like a memorial for her. And so that is like an example of that, just how special it is for me.
And was your aunt, was that during COVID or something? Is that why you couldn't have a funeral? Or
no, it was before that. It was just that my family was kind of spread out, and it was like a complicated situation just financially as well, and it never was able to happen. I mean, we had like, we held space for her and stuff like that, but we just weren't able to all come together to have a funeral.
So what's that song called?
It's called Buckman.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was listening to your whole catalog today, and I wanted to ask you about Buckman. And I'm guessing that your aunt is the voice kind of towards the end.
Yeah, she is. That was her talking at my cousin's funeral, who's her son. And that was like a year prior to her passing away. And so, yeah, I had that video for talking that I used part of that for it. Yeah.
Okay. What were their names?
My cousin's name is David, and my aunt's name is Jane.
You must have been really close to your aunt.
Yeah, I was, definitely. She was a big part of my life. She lived in Portland, and I grew up in Seattle, so I would spend a lot of time going down to Portland when I was a kid.
Okay, that's the references to Portland.
Yeah, exactly.
This album release, it's May 8th is the date, right? 2025.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You've released, I think, 3 singles from the upcoming album.
Yeah, that's true. The next one's coming out on Friday.
Oh, cool. I can't wait. So you've got Peppermint out there, you've got Individualism, and you've got, is it Orange?
Yeah, Orange.
How many songs are going to be on the album?
It's going to be 12 or 13, depending on if I decide to put this interlude in or not. It would be like a super, like a 5-second interlude kind of thing. But yeah, 12 songs, I would say.
And what made you decide to do an album instead of just release singles then?
Well, I mean, I feel like I just reached a point. Well, honestly, like I had a former manager who was really like persistent in like pushing me to release singles, so I did that, and I was trying to like play the game that everyone's playing of like release as much as possible, and I just felt like I wasn't giving enough to the songs. Like I was trying to push something quickly that didn't need to happen quickly. And so I just got sick of that, and then kind of pulled back and thought about like, what am I actually trying to say as an artist? And what do I believe? And what do I want to express? And it just felt like it was time for me to make a full album that had a whole message and whole theme, because it is a concept album. And so that was really important for me. And originally I was thinking maybe it would be an EP, but then it kind of all, I mean, this has to do with the concept of the album, but it kind of all came to like a point where I was in this like veterinary office after my cat Mishu had died. The album's called Mishu's Dream. And we were there with his body. He died really unexpectedly. And I just like had a moment of saying, my album's going to be called Mishu's Dream. It's going to be a full album. And it kind of, the whole concept came to me in this moment. And, so I had to like put a bigger project together, I guess.
So is there like a golden thread through all the songs then, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the songs as they were written are just like moments of my life that aren't necessarily connected, but the theme that is connecting all of them in a way is similarly to that, like finding beauty in pain. It's basically Mishu was a really scared cat, and or not, he wasn't, yeah, he was just like a little bit shy, and I always felt like it was his dream to see, or I'm sorry, I'm fumbling over my words right now, but my household that I grew up in was like really tumultuous, just a lot of fighting and screaming and like my family not getting along a lot of the time, and like a lot of like fear there. And I felt like it was his dream to see my family work together and get along. And so it's like sonically his dream, and that it's like it's kind of has this dreamscape element to all of the songs, but also literally his dream in that I'm kind of thematically, the songs go from a harsher, scarier place, and from those feelings of more like fear to a place of acceptance and coming together at the end of it. And also there's just, I'm sampling my parents' voices throughout the album, and my sister's voice as well, and different sounds from around my house that I grew up in, where Mishu grew up. So just like kind of encapsulating like the actual, allowing the dream elements to like seep into the real world through the music.
Mishu, what does Mishu mean?
Mishu is it's just a French name, and my grandma named him, and so yeah, I'm half French. That's why I'm in Montreal, and so yeah, it's that.
So you have family on your mom or dad's side?
My dad's side.
Okay, how do they feel about you sampling their voices and stuff and using it in your songs?
They definitely like, I don't think they want to hear it, but they were happy to participate. The producer that I'm co-producing the record with came to Seattle, and we like had my parents come one at a time and like sit down and in front of the mic and just say things that had to do with the song. And they were like excited about that. But then one of the songs on the album called Shadow has my dad's voice towards the end of it. There's a little section of me singing in French, and then my dad's voice comes in saying the same thing that I'm saying. And when I played that for him the first time, he was like, I hate it. Like, I hate hearing my own voice like that. But he grew to like it. But it was funny.
I think everyone hates to hear their voice for the first time because you hear it so differently, like when you have headphones on.
Yeah, totally. I remember feeling that way. And then I think I reached a certain point of like recording music enough and like listening back to videos of myself talking that I don't hear a difference anymore. Like, it's very much the same to me.
I'm sorry about Mishu. And that was recently then, within the past year, or?
That was like, I mean, the concept from the album for the album came in 2022, actually. So it was 2022. It's been in progress for quite a while. Yeah.
So you co-produce with someone else, and then do you have sort of band members playing different instruments? Are you playing the majority of the instruments, or what? Tell me about your process.
I mean, yeah, for the recorded stuff, it's kind of a mix of different things. Milan and I are playing. I mean, I'm playing the guitar for almost every song. Orange is actually Milan playing guitar, but I'm. It's kind of a mix of both of us trying different things. I also have some different people coming in recording, like the bass on Individualism and Peppermint is recorded by my friend Ben Root, who is awesome, makes awesome music. And so he's put some bass lines on some different tracks on the album. I have another friend, Cirrus Levine, who recorded bass on that song where I sing in French. I've also had some people come in and record some viola parts, some trumpet, trombone. Those are going to be on some of the other songs on the record.
One thing that I really appreciate about your music, it feels so organic or natural and not overproduced. I love the production of your songs, but I just going to mention about, what was his last name? Root.
Ben Root.
Ben Root. If he played on Peppermint, I love the bass part.
Yeah, he has such a good ear for bass lines. It's crazy. It always hits exactly like where I want it to. So yeah, he's great.
Yeah, and people don't understand that it's when he doesn't play that makes the song too. Do you know what I mean? It's like I think some
Totally.
people just play to be heard or whatever, but really good musicians have an ear for music, can play when they need to play and not play. It's the spaces in between sometimes that makes it even more powerful. So, and the reason you're on this podcast is because of Peppermint. That song just hit me, and I didn't even know the meaning behind it, or maybe the pain or anything behind it, because it sounds like this bedroom pop sort of happy-ish song, but there is some kind of melancholy or pain. And then when you start looking at the words, and your lyrics are so cool, because I printed them out and I'm like going, wait a second, I understand the lyrics from listening to the song over and over. I discovered Peppermint in September, and it's still in my on repeat in Spotify. So that's how much I played it. But when I printed out the words, and it's almost like you're a director of photography in making a movie or a TV show, and you are like blocking scenes. And so it's so visual, because when you say peppermint, bottle top, red ring, I mean, it's almost like you're pointing at different things, like cellar doors, dinner plate. And so how did you come up with that kind of style? Are you mimicking anyone else's style, or did you wanted to be very visual with the song Peppermint?
It came like I had no intention of doing anything. It just kind of is what came out of my mouth. I think most of my songs start that way, of like I start saying something and then I realize, oh, that's what I'm talking about, and then I can kind of fill in the gaps from there. But that song in particular I wrote on a little weekend trip with my girlfriend at the time, and I just started playing that beat, like the guitar riff, and started saying peppermint, and then I kind of realized, oh, this is about my aunt Jane, actually. And yeah, and so it kind of came through that, and then through talking with my girlfriend about just like the different memories that I associated with that feeling. And like, yeah, I don't know, yeah, just definitely wasn't intentional, but just happened.
Well, I love it. And that's the thing. It's so funny when you talk about, how did you come up with this? How do you do this? Sometimes these questions are so stupid, because art is just made, and it's almost like taken from somewhere, and you just start and then you go down this path. So I love your answer on that. So is this the same aunt as in Buckman?
Yeah, it is.
And so is Buckman a name? What does Buckman mean?
Buckman is the neighborhood that that my family lived in Portland, and also like where my cousin went to school, and where I used to take swimming lessons as a kid, when I would go down in the summer. Yeah.
So not a name, not a last name or anything.
Yeah, no. Although it is my other aunt's last name, but it's unrelated.
Okay. What a coincidence. Okay. A question my son had, he's a songwriter and producer as well. He's just turned 21. But I was asking him, what questions would you ask a singer-songwriter? And one of the questions he wanted me to ask was, how do you balance learning an instrument versus using an instrument to make music? Do you know what I mean? The difference between like practicing and making.
Well, okay. For me, it's probably a pretty unique answer, just in the fact that I like don't practice, and I don't think I'm that good at guitar. I really primarily learned and play guitar with the purpose of writing. So there's not really a line in my mind, I guess. I mean, I learned the first like songs that I would learn singing they were just so I could sing along with them, first of all. So I was just like learning chords, and this was always with the intention of writing. And because I was writing songs when I was so young, like my first memories were writing songs without any instruments. So that was always like, I just needed something to facilitate being able to write better, and being able to write and remember and like have an actual structure. So it's hard to say. I think for me, the hard part is like, it's kind of the opposite. Like, how do I start practicing and not let that take away from or like, I don't know, how do I actually just have a practice regimen that isn't writing? And I've been trying to do that more, but it is hard for me, and it's just not as fun for me. Like I'm just naturally a singer-songwriter. I'm not so much like an instrumentalist, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Same, and I just want to say same. But what happens to me is if I do practice, and I learned A9 on the guitar, it's a very easy chord to play. I mean, it's like you hold down 2 strings, and like songs spring from just learning a chord. Do you know what I mean? You hear
Totally.
a chord and you're like, oh, here, I can write a song from this. And so it's almost like the practice is helping facilitate, or at least the learning of something new, like a new chord, facilitates the songwriting process. But yeah,
absolutely, I absolutely agree.
when you're doing scales and stuff like that, you're like going, I'm not doing what I love.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite chord?
Yeah, E6. E6. It is my, like, I can't stop using this chord. Yeah. Here. It's I mean, I'll play it anywhere, like I'll bar it anywhere, but it's just this. Okay, wait. It's like this shape.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's just like an E, but with that like 6 on top.
Probably hard to reach that, especially with your pinky.
Yeah, I have one song coming out that's like I'm doing this the whole time and then switching back between this, and my pinky locks out all the time. It's like quite impossible, but yeah, I love that. It's that chord's in Buckman, and many of my songs.
And do you use a capo a lot?
Yeah, I do. I mean, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Just to put it in a key that's going to be easier for you to sing.
Yeah, exactly. Or just to give me fresh ideas. Like if I'm like, I'll just put I used to write a lot on capo too. And then I stopped doing that for a really long time because I had written so many songs on capo too. And now I'm coming back to it. Yeah.
What's something that you've heard or seen recently that inspired you?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess one thing that I saw recently that really inspired me was A Complete Unknown. It's kind of a basic answer, but the Bob Dylan movie with Timothy Chalamet, that one, I felt really inspired by that. Watching Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan write all these songs inspired me, and like immediately like reinvigorated something in me to like just write as much as I can. So that's one thing. And then also I've recently met someone, like a new friend of mine, who writes beautiful songs, and he's been sending me the songs he writes, and all of those have really, really been inspiring me as well. He doesn't have any, or he has one song out right now, but he's working on an album, but his name is Starbird is his artist name. And yeah, that has been inspiring me a lot.
And then does your co-producer, Milan, have songs out as well?
Yeah. He's primarily an artist, really. And like, yeah, it's kind of, I feel super lucky that I like got him to produce an album for me. It's not something he typically does, but yeah, I think that's why it's able to be kind of more like lo-fi production. It's because we're both experimenting. We don't really know, like, I mean, he knows a lot of what to do, but we're exploring.
I just want to thank you, Anna, for being the first person on my Art and Artists podcast. I've reached out to several different artists, stand-up comedians, actors, and singers and songwriters and things like that. But you were the first to respond, and I was so excited to interview you today. Peppermint continues to support my grief because I lost my son a year ago. It's almost exactly a year ago here in a couple of weeks. So I wish you a lot of satisfaction and happiness with your May 8th album release, Miss You's Dream. Can't wait to listen to the other songs, and you have a song that you're releasing this Friday. But thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. Really, it's a privilege.
Will you play a song for us?
Yeah, for sure I can. Yeah.
I would love that.
I mean, do you want to hear Peppermint or?
Yeah, that would be so great.
Okay, cool. Yeah. It's fine. The connection's fine.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Okay. wash it off. Cellar doors should stay locked. Anyway, anyway. Dinner plate, tilted gate, wipe that look off your face. Cheat again, one more time. Drink from the bowl, a glass of wine. Anyway, anyway. Anyway, anyway. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Bedroom basement, you knock on my door. Don't wanna face it like I said before. Bedroom basement, knock on my door. You don't wanna face it like you said before. Take what's not yours. Is this what you came for? Is this what you came for? This is what you came for. You don't wanna face it. You don't wanna lie. You said. Peppermint bedroom, bottle top. Cellar doors don't wanna stay locked. Oh, oh, oh. Anyway. Peppermint, man.
That's beautiful. Thank you so
Thanks.
much, Anna. That was so,
Of course.
what a treat. And I can't wait to share this episode with the world. And I mean, I'm telling you, you might be writing songs for yourself to metabolize whatever pain or, problems you're going through, but it affected one person in the world, at least. And that's me. So thank you so much for sharing your gifts with the world.
Thank you. I have chills right now and feel like crying for some reason. This is what I'm here to do in the world. Like, it really does feel like this is my purpose.